it is sort of looking like this was indeed a palace coup by Saikawa-san. Is that how you're seeing it?
Well, certainly what we're reading in the papers, nobody knows for sure, but what we're reading in the papers, it's more and more sounding that way. We're hearing more about this criminal issue being connected to, Renault's, ownership and shareholding in Nissan and what the relationship between the two companies should be.
Now, we're hearing from various media reports is that Nissan is going to push for a change in the structure, in the shareholding structure in the alliance with Renault, which we've been hearing that Saikawa-san, among others in Nissan, say it's inequitable and it's not feasible going forward. And especially, they didn't want a merger. How do you see the structure playing out if indeed Carlos Ghosn, the man that keeps the alliance glued together, is ousted?
Well, this is an interesting issue. First off, Renault, as the principal shareholder of this company, has rights. They took enormous risk to buy this company back in 1999. And sure, Nissan can ask for this, but Renault has to agree with it. Their rights have to be respected. The other issue is I think for many years, all of his public statements, Carlos Ghosn has been saying, hey, we don't want a full takeover of Nissan. We don't want a full takeover of Mitsubishi. We have to respect the corporate cultures of these companies. It's important to their competitiveness. So he was a voice for moderation on this field. And so with his absence, now, maybe people who are going to take a harder line are going to say, no, we should control this company.
Was Renault sideswiped? They own 43% of Nissan. They have voting rights. They had 4 of the 5 supposed board members on their faction. 2 of them are now in detention, so they're not going to be voting today. Have they been sideswiped?
Every indication is that they're in shock with this. What I've heard is many key people at Renault found out about this whole thing through the news. They didn't get a lot of notification about this, and so I think they're still in shock. Of course, the thing is you have a leadership vacuum there. Terry Bollea has taken over as an interim CEO for Carlos Ghosn, but at the same time, when Mr. Ghosn was arrested, it just wasn't Nissan that lost its chairman. So did Renault lose its leadership, and so it's taking them a few days to regain their balance.
Is this rift, if it is one, between Renault and Nissan, is it repairable?
It's going to be very tough because I think some trust has been destroyed. I think that it's going to be hard to regain that credibility that existed before. So it's going to be a very tough road ahead. And certainly, one of the things that worries me about this is, we long talked about a collaborative style, a merger of equals. And, in a way, now you've got an environment where maybe that whole concept of a global alliance where different people's values are respected has had a stake driven through it.
So do we go back to a siloed automakers? I mean, with Nissan going it alone and being a domestic player, and Renault going, well, where's our main revenue going to come from?
Well, they've made this investment. They expect a return on their investment. And if suddenly Nissan is not contributing to that, it calls into doubt the whole structure.
Right. So as far as this investigation that Nissan launched, and we're also hearing that the prosecutors, now that they have all that information, they're perhaps going to widen the investigation to Nissan itself, not just to Carlos Ghosn and Greg Kelly. Aren't there lots of unforeseen consequences and ramifications?
I mean, always when you get into this situation, there's a risk of unintended consequences. This can propagate quite a bit. And once you invite the prosecutors into your office, they're not going to just focus on what Ghosn did. They're going to go shopping.
Nissan has not been scandal-free of late. They were involved as well in the emissions scandal, as well as the uncertified inspectors. There could be some problems there. I mean, we don't want to speculate too much.
No, but I mean, there's always surprises.
Yeah.
And so, you could hear about, other people that were implicated or other findings completely unrelated to it. Any investigation, any criminal investigation you had can go into all sorts of unanticipated directions.
How do the votes stack up today? Does Saikawa-san get his wish and get Ghosn?
Oh, I think that's a foregone conclusion. He's got the votes.
Now, who becomes chairman? Because Saikawa-san on Monday said too much power was put in one person, and he's the CEO. And I don't know if there's an heir for chairman, but I would assume he would become chairman and CEO.
Well, a certain irony in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably he will argue this is a temporary measure, but there is a certain amount of irony if he's going to hold both roles even temporarily.
Yeah. What is the future of Nissan? Let's just talk about that, because they are the main revenue and profit driver of the alliance. Should they go it alone? Should they get out of the alliance? Can they get out of the alliance when the majority owner is Renault?
Well, I mean, this is property rights. I've heard a lot about, Nissan contributes the most profits. They sell the most cars, or more cars than Renault. But ultimately, that's not a determination of who owns the thing. And so, Renault, back in 1999, they took a lot of risk, endured a lot of ridicule. There were people that thought you should, dump a lot of gold into the ocean rather than invest in Nissan. So they took risks, and so they have the right to gain from them. If Nissan management really wants to get out of this thing, it's got to be with Renault's agreement. Yeah. And quite likely, they're not going to agree.
Through all this drama, which you kind of liken to Shakespearean drama, the Ides of November, if you want to call it that, you still have a outperform rating on Nissan. Cheapest chips, you say?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct. And, the company still has a 5% dividend yield. The thing is, with all of this drama going on, all of this uncertainty going on, if there's a fight for control of the company, maybe the share price goes up on that.